Hey, welcome to American Reversion. I'm Steve Smith. How are you all today? You been keeping up on monkeypox? You scared yet? It's the next thing that they're using to come after us, isn't it? I'm sure a lot of you are keeping up on it. It's the latest thing out of Africa, apparently. By the way, welcome to everyone. Welcome to all the new subscribers, both on YouTube and on Patreon. We keep growing, and it's good to have you. Yeah, so apparently this is the latest thing coming out of the Congo Basin that's supposed to scare us all to death. What we know about it, I'm going to read a few things here, and I put something up over on the Patreon channel. It was an InfoWars special with Alex Jones, with Dr. David McCullum, and somebody else, and I forget who that is, but he was a sharp guy, and you're going to want to hear what he has to say. I know that a lot of people have mixed feelings about Alex Jones. So do I. So do I. But you know, there are a few people in the past that occasionally come off as sounding pretty crazy, and we find out that they're on the money a number of times. He's one of them. Who are the others? Glenn Beck is another, and who was the guy that had Borders, Language, Culture? Michael Savage. They I think were ahead of their time, and so the powers that be were able to get people to doubt them, to minimize their impact, and that's too bad. Now you know they did occasionally come off kind of crazy, but they are right a lot of times. So anyway, that's a program that I think that you'd like to watch. It's very interesting. I think that this is the next thing they're going to use to try to shut us all down. Apparently, it's not a serious situation at all. A matter of fact, and I'm going to get into what's going on, the politics of it here in just a minute, and why we're getting wrong information on it. So like I say, it came out of Central Western Africa, the Congo Basin apparently. The doctors over the African physicians seem to be confused as to why this is turning up in Europe and why everybody's so concerned with it. It's apparently easily avoided. It is easily dealt with symptomatically. It usually clears itself up in 2 to 4 weeks, but no. We can't go along with that. We have to be deathly afraid of it, and they're going to make sure that we are. So spread this around to other people, if you would. More people. They're getting, you know, when I run across people, they're starting to get hyped up on this, just like they were on the last little thing. You know, this reminds me a lot of the HIV/AIDS thing back in the 80s, and in a minute you're going to see why, if you don't already know. So they say, the African doctors say, well, why in the world is this showing up in Europe and America, and it's not a big deal anyway? Well, we will start with and let me throw in a couple other things here too. For this horrible, horrible thing that goes away in 2 to 4 weeks, a couple of things have happened. Apparently, they already have 13 million doses ready to go for this monkeypox. And now I just read something, and I didn't read I didn't get into the interior of the article, but they have now released some smallpox vaccine to be used against it. You see, that's making it sound more serious. Well, let me read the first thing here from The Guardian. It says the UN denounces homophobic and racist reporting on monkeypox spread. Now, why would it be homophobic and racist? Some media portrayals of cases among African and LGBTI people fueling blame, agency says, as infections reported in Europe and the U.S. and Australia. The United Nations AIDS Agency has called some reporting on monkeypox virus racist and homophobic, warning of exacerbating stigma and undermining the response to the growing outbreak. Why? UNAIDS, interesting, said, quote, a significant proportion, end quote, of recent monkeypox cases have been identified among gay, bisexual, and other men who have sex with men. I didn't know there were other men that had sex with men other than gay and bisexual. There's obviously something that I don't understand. But transmission was most likely via close physical contact with a monkeypox sufferer and could affect anyone, it added, saying some portrayals of Africans and LGBTI, that's a new one for me. I thought it was supposed to be Q, but who knows, people reinforce homophobic and racist stereotypes and exacerbate stigma. Okay. Okay. Do you remember? This is why it's going to take us back to the AIDS epidemic. You remember when AIDS started, or was it HIV? I forget, and I don't care enough to go back and look into this. I remember when it was hitting everybody. Not everybody. It's hardly hitting anybody. But I remember when it was the big thing, right back in the 80s. And it came out that it apparently was simply manifest in the homosexual and intravenous drug-using populations. Did I say that politically correct enough? Okay. It was among gay men, for the most part, and IV drug users. Well, and they couldn't get any traction from that, right? Because regardless of Freddie Mercury, very few people were affected because the percentage of gay males in our society is so infinitesimally small, regardless of what people want you to believe, so small that nobody knew anybody who had it. Unless people were involved in the gay culture, I guess, okay? So they were trying to pump this up, trying to pump it up. They couldn't get any traction. Then all of a sudden they had to start saying, you know, it can affect everybody. It's not just a disease that is within this subset. It affects everyone. That's when they got traction. That's when they started. Now, why did they want that? Do you remember that Anthony Fauci was involved in that? They wanted that because of the millions of dollars that were at stake for research and treatment and public service announcements and condom sales and sex ed classes and everything in the world. There is money in fear. There is money in sex. There's money in war. There's money in all of this stuff, right? That's what they wanted. So they had everybody believing that, oh my, it could affect me. I mean, I'm not an IV drug user. I'm not gay, but it can affect me. I guess I should be concerned, and I'm going to jump on board. And the whole world did, pretty much. Okay. Well, going to read something else. This is from The Who. Not the band, but, the World Health Organization. The organization that wants to take over our sovereignty and that our phony leaders want to give our sovereignty to when it comes to health issues, which is everything. Could be everything, right? So The Who said, leading monkeypox outbreak theory is risky sexual behavior between men at 2 raves in Europe. Men at 2 raves in Europe. Doesn't sound like it's something that's just jumping out of a box somewhere and threatening all of us, does it? Let's read just a little bit of this. London, a leading advisor to the World Health Organization described the unprecedented outbreak of the rare disease monkeypox in developed countries as a random event that might be explained by risky sexual behavior at 2 recent events in Europe. In an interview with the Associated Press, Dr. David Heyman, who formerly headed WHO's Emergencies Department, said the leading theory to explain the spread of the disease was sexual transmission among gay and bisexual men at 2 raves held in Spain and Belgium. Monkeypox had not previously triggered widespread outbreaks beyond Africa, where it is endemic in animals. We know monkeypox can spread when there is close contact, that would be sex, with the lesions of someone who is infected, and it looks like sexual contact has now amplified that transmission. Okay. Well, there we have it. There we have it. Don't we? Don't we have it? Do you see how this was? Is that we backed up a little bit. The WHO says, hey, it's transmitted at a couple of big raves among homosexual men in Europe. Probably one of them came from Africa, or more than one, who knows, or some, who knows, right? It is, and they said, I forget whether it was this article or another. I'll just look at this really quickly. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. But it was something that, I mean, the vast majority, they go on to explain to us that by nature, sexual activity involves intimate contact. I'm glad that they told us that, right? Took the WHO to let us know about that. But anyway, apparently it is a disease that is primarily among a very small portion of our society. It gets over in 2 to 4 weeks. But we are gearing up for it. Here's something that you want to add to this mix. This is from the Western Journal. Documents from the 2021 International Security Exercise showed monkeypox bioattack on May 15, 2022. In March 2021, the Nuclear Threat Initiative, a global security organization focused on reducing nuclear and biological threats. I'm sorry, it was scrolling there. There we go. Imperiling Humanity, joined by members of the Munich Security Conference, conducted an exercise which involved a lethal global monkeypox pandemic. Now, what do we know there? Lethal, global, right? Used to be. It's supposed to just be in Africa. And the lethality is highly questioned. Just like something recently that we know, the mortality rate is very, most people get over it in 2 to 4 weeks, right? But no, this is a lethal global monkeypox pandemic. Not a global pandemic of something that gets over in 2 to 4 weeks, but a lethal one. In a November 2021 report, the NTI looked at the outbreak of the monkeypox virus in the fictional country of Brinia on May 15, 2022. That was just a few days ago, wasn't it? Which was the focus of the March exercise. Under the imaginary scenario, the initial outbreak was caused by a terrorist attack using a pathogen engineered in a laboratory with inadequate biosafety and biosecurity provisions and weak oversight. Well, let me just throw something in here too. And I didn't pull this article up. Look it up for yourself. Delve into this. You smart ones out there who look into this stuff. Look at the relationship between Bill Gates and monkeypox. And then monkeypox and the Wuhan lab. Okay? This is the latest thing that they're going to use to try to scare us to death. Are you ready for more lockdowns? You better be. Because they're not done with us yet. They're not going to be done with us until we are vanquished, Or they are. Right? Isn't that right? Look into this yourselves, guys. Spread this around to your friends. Be ready for this. People weren't ready when the number 19 came. People jumped on board and they were all scared to death, and they just believed anything that was told them. And, you know, there was information out at that time that was available that would have mitigated the fears in that case. We see plenty of information out here, but this is the stuff that we have to dig for. What's going to be on the news, what's going to be on, you know, the consumable level for most people, it just simply monkeypox, scary, vaccines are coming, get in line, get your vaccine. Okay. I'll be back with some more stuff later. You all remember that I'm almost done saying that America needs a reversion, because I haven't quite decided what to say about what it needs. But it needs you to be a part of it, and it needs me to be a part of it. So if you'll share this, I'd appreciate that. It will help in our struggle. And if you'll like it, and if you'll leave a comment, that helps too. It helps the algorithms. We're a very small channel. We are adding people all the time, but everything that you can do to help, we appreciate. If you'd like to support us, we appreciate that too. And one way to do that is to join us as a member on Patreon. I put the link right down here in the information box. Somewhere down there is a little thing that can drop down information. It's kind of above where I put where you can get my books. Some people have a hard time finding that. Maybe I should put it in a pinned comment. I don't know. Let me know what you think. But that's a way to do it. Right down there you can find our Patreon channel, or you can go to patreon.com/American Reversion. And if you'd like to give us $1 or $2 a month and help support our efforts in this, we'd sure appreciate it. Until the next time, you all have a great day. Don't worry about this stuff, but worry what they're going to do with it. And I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.